Welcome everybody, this is Bob and Sean. We're looking at Crusader Kings 3, and we are starting as England, and we created our own ruler, and so there's going to be some challenges in coming with being in England, and I believe that this is probably a pretty popular nation to start out as. You're going to begin with being under attack by Normandy, as well as Norway, and Norway has actually already landed forces at the very start, so this is what it looks like right when you get started. So a couple things you want to do here, you'll notice that you've got things like no player error. If you created a character and they're too young to have children or you didn't select them, you're going to have no error. That means if you lose your king, the game's over until you find a way to get yourself some heirs. Alright, next up we've got nominate a successor. Well, we can nominate a successor. It's not going to help us in this case because we don't have anyone in our family line. And then we're not betrothed. This one is actually going to help us out greatly because we're able to ally with another nation and they might send some troops to help us. Some things you want to consider there when you're allying to gain power through the troops is that you don't want them to be currently at war with someone else because they may not come to your aid. They're focused at threats at home. And then the second thing would be France generally wants to ally. They have a young female character that will align them, but Normandy being a part of France, France will not fight off Normandy's attack on England. So France is not an option. We're going to want to take a look east, probably Hungary, Poland, maybe the HRE if they're willing. So we'll take a look at that. What you're going to want to do is fight off the army close to home. And in order to do that, you're going to want to make sure that your council is strong. And so just going over here, you can take a look at, all right, what are your options? So if you were to look at your, do we have the best guy in office for your marshal? Because the marshal is going to be super important for you. And he's very strong in combat, but he's got a 16 here. And if we just hit that little swords, we'll see that, oh, okay, there's a guy that's already in office. He's got a better marshal. So we'll go ahead and swap him out. That's not going to upset them. And then this guy's really bad in stewardship. What is he good at? Nothing except for marshal, and we already got a better guy for that. This guy here, however, looks like he's got a decent steward of 15. And this guy he's probably in his best spot. And these guys are strong, powerful vassals. So you generally don't want to tick them off because then you can have a revolt on your hands. But this 5 stewardship is not all that great. So we're going to go ahead and swap this guy out in exchange for, wow. So this person is a powerful vassal, 22. So we're going to go ahead and assign. We're going to fire this guy who was already upset with us. Now he's super upset with us, Duke Mulvar. So we're going to actually go over to our council now. We're in council, go to court. And military, let's do that. And we're going to go to knights. So Morcourt does not like us. We're going to force him to be a knight because he's got some pretty good combat. The other guys, we'll go ahead and force this guy. We can recruit a knight of 14, and you want to have your knights maxed out. Recruiting this guy, he's going to be pretty decent. It's going to cost us 10 gold. Let's go ahead and recruit him and force him. He is now a knight for us as well. And then we'll go ahead and, these guys aren't really too happy with us, we'll go ahead and force them to make sure that they're on the field. If this guy who doesn't like us gets killed in combat, then maybe his son likes us more. So it's one of the things to consider. We got another 13 that we can recruit. He also is going to be 10 coin. We've got quite a bit right now, so we're going to recruit him to court and force him to fight for us. Alright, and then the next thing you want to do is probably increase your regiments. So we can hire on additional, or we can buff up the ones we got. This guy's already a size of 7. We've got the mangonels at 1 of 8. We're probably going to want to go with something that can kind of counter. Bowmen are going to go after the light stuff, but light footmen are going to be pretty strong against heavy infantry, and that's what we're probably going to be most worried about at this point. So we're going to go ahead and create this unit. They're cheap. They're good against heavy infantry. We're going to pump them up. 87 is where we're currently at with a size of 6. That should be fine. We'll leave them there, and we're going to want to look at marriages. So if we go to betrothal, we can find a spouse, and if you want to find one with a strong army, right? You want to, instead of relevance, we're going to go to alliance power. France pops up there, but as mentioned before, France is a no-no. Yeah, because they are connected with Normandy. They're not going to help us against Normandy, so we do not want that. Our king is only 12 years old, And as such, we've got some time, so we can go ahead and take a marriage that is less than desirable as far as like if you want traits or different things. You can always break your betrothal. You're going to take a hit on your prestige, and it's going to affect the families and things, but for the most part, you're going to be fine. So if you look at their army, they're currently not at war with anybody. They've got an army size comparable to our own with 3,280. And they are Czech. So if you wanted to see, if you didn't know where the Czech was located, you could hit the shields. Generally take you there. Let's see here. I'm messing something up on that. So if we go back again, you're going to go to Alliance Power. We see Czech, and then we can click on that little shield. It should bring us to where they're located. Not too far. It's Bohemia. Not too far from France. It's going to take them a little time to get here, so we're going to have to hold out until then. It's possible to fight them off on our own if we take them as they land, because they'll be weak coming across the ocean. But we've got something to deal with up north. So that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to go ahead and ally with Bohemia, getting that Czech army. So we'll send our proposal. And then we're going to have that proposal going in. We're going to go ahead and start our army over here. We got 2,973. We'll go ahead and raise all here. Alright, so the army is forming up. I'll go ahead and freeze that here. So we should be able to beat them on this level. I'm going to go ahead and march them north. As you can see, there's a little plus sign indicating that we will win the combat. And we want to take these guys as they come so that we don't end up fighting multiple stronger armies. Nobody's landed here in our south, so if we can beat these quickly, we can hightail it down south. In the meantime, you can call on your ally, Duke. So we were able to ally with him, or sorry, we had him ally. We're going to ask him to go to the Norman conquest. He's going to accept, and then go ahead and finish off these Norwegians. So he might join the Norman conquest as an enemy of England. So we've got Brittany that might be coming in at us. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and finish off these Norwegians. They're going to run north. We've already got people landing over here in the south. We might not be able to get down there before they lose their bonus of having to just transfer over. So let's go ahead and chase down these Norwegians and finish off that. We want to also call on the Duke to aid us against the Norwegian invasion. And if you wanted to, you could get another nation helping you out here by breaking your alliance, breaking your, not necessarily your alliance, but your betrothal with Bohemia and starting one with another. So that would give you another marriage option. We are chasing these guys into Scotland. Meanwhile, we're letting the south get taken. The main thing is your capital, where your king is going to reside, because he's too young. You want to make sure he does not get taken, and so you can move him around and get back. These guys are taken off into the ocean, so chasing them is not helpful to us. We'll go ahead and head back down. It looks like we have a 5,000 army, and we got some people landing here, so we're going to go ahead and try to take them as they land, and they should have a debuff. So we're going to raise all in that regard here. We got more troops coming in. We're going to land, take on the troops as they land. These guys are moving out, we're moving in. This will give us a pretty nice combat. So they've got a decrease in effectiveness with the sailing here. It's ended now for the 3,000 army. So our 4,400 army is taking out one of these Norwegians. I'm surprised the other guys went, but we lost two. Combine those two armies. And now we're going to cut off this 3,000 army. Meanwhile, the Bohemians, wherever the heck they are, Bohemian friends. They should be up there. They are 3,200. You inherited the earldom of Northamptonshire. Okay, great. So somebody died, and we inherited Northamptonshire. I'm going to go ahead and take out these Norwegians at the same time as we have buddies coming in from Bohemia. Should be sufficient for us to win this out. And you can see that we're minus 13 with Normandy, so we're going to want to have to clean this up pretty quick before we get slammed. If they take over our capital city, we can lose the entire thing and our king gets captured. So we just want to send those guys over, checking in on Bohemia. They're almost to us, coming over the water. Now at this point we could probably get peace with Norway in order to focus entirely on the Normandy invaders. So what we're going to do is go ahead and take those guys out. Looks like they've got a stronger force if we were just going against them directly. But since we are not, we've got our buddies here. We're going to go ahead and clean off any Norwegians that are sailing in and make our way towards the Normans. So Duke of Moray is involved in this as well. Let's fight him. These guys are all piling in. We've got an 8,000 army now with our allies from Bohemia. So we'll finish these guys off. We're at 37% now. That should buy us time enough, hopefully, to make our way. Alright, so this is where we get in trouble. London is under attack, and that should be where our young king is located in the United States. So you just get some choices there for the king as he's aging. And you probably also, one of the nice things is if you want to focus on combat or diplomacy, something like that, you can make yourself a lord of whichever strongest character you've got there. So I'm going to go ahead and make myself a lord of this guy. It's going to make him like me a little bit more, and he's going to teach my king the new arts of combat. So he's accepted. Look at our march down here. This is going to be kind of a tricky part. This is going to be probably the one that decides if this is a success or not. It's probably so strong with the knights. Rodawake, what did I dream about? All I can remember is a beautiful. Okay, so this kind of lets you determine what preference you have. And if you want heirs, you probably want to choose homosexual. Or you can still get heirs even if you're not, if you choose something else, but most likelihood would be homosexual. Right, so they're on the run. We're going to move. Alright, so you just kind of want to balance it out between who's marching where and who's on the run. So these guys are on the run. We've got them kind of separated. If I move and try to take these guys off here, they're already no longer running, so we're going to go ahead and finish them off. Our allies are taking out one army, and we're going to try to smack another one. And one of the nice things is if you clear them out fast enough, there's nothing I can do because I don't have a healer. So if you kill them quick enough, they'll actually wipe the entire army. You guys are on the run. We're going to need to get back north because they're starting to take wins as well. So good so far. We're taking on the regions and we can end the war with and then getting depleted right now. running it wherever the units are, and then if we get in trouble, that land is probably going to be taken. So if we move in here, we could probably recapture this territory. Something to worry about now is we're getting further behind. We can trim down our armies. If I mark across here, I'm going to look at we get to targeting going through the castles. But if we want to get over so it's a percentage loss. So I'm looking to trim down our you're going to be less and less careful how you use yourself. Pretty much wiping out all of the units here. So we're at 44% with Norman. What we can do now is we can split off. We'll stop moving. We're going to steal from moving. We can now split off a new army. So we're going to want to take, I like to just move those guys out of the way. We're going to take all of our levies, because those are our least effective units. And this is going to leave us with 1,000 as far as troops. And we can go ahead and stick these guys, move them to another territory and deal with this famine. We're going to start heading north with our armies. Chase these guys down. This army right here, as soon as I get back into an area that's not near any troops, so we're going to disband the army. And so that's going to make it so we have less that we can disband. We don't have any prisoners to offer up for money for ransom. So I'm just going to go ahead and head north. We're going to try to take out these guys. A whack-a-mole situation. These guys are coming back at us, so we can turn around and face them. So it looks like we only have 1,000, but we have 1,000 at last. And we completely wiped that army, so they're gone. Nothing we can do there. Kind of like torn between heading north and finishing off the Normans down there. If you want to know how many troops they had left, these guys only have 896 troops left. And the Norwegians have 3,200, so they are the bigger threat. So we're going to head north while we have our allies still intact. And unfortunately, we are suffering from having a debt. It looks like that would indicate certain death if we were to go into there right now. So maybe if we cross over. You don't want to cross rivers if you can help it, because that'll actually harm you. We're going to want to give ourselves more power as our general. So in case he does die, I'm the general. That work. So we're fighting out. These guys are pretty strong. It looks like it's going to be in our favor, but it is a close battle. Capture their king is super strong for us. Well, looks like we captured somebody. Alright, so they are on the run. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to catch the guy running right. This guy's trying to make it across the ocean. I'm not sure if we're going to catch them. The boarding boats were in the same territories, and yet we cannot stop them from getting in. So right now we're reclaiming this territory they took. It's going to give us more points. If you look at the Normans, we have 20, so we're going to balance that a bit more in our favor. We should get some coin from recapturing the territory here. These guys are running amok down there. So we jumped up to 64%. Going down and attack these guys here. 1424 army. You gotta just keep checking to make sure our allies haven't abandoned us, because if they disband their armies or if they lose, go to empty council position. Our strongest one is going to be the 17. Nope, it's going to be 19, but he is not a strong vassal, whereas Morcar is. So we're going to go ahead and give Morcar what he wants. And we're going to continue south. So we've reclaimed all the lands of England to the north, and then reclaim these down to the southeast. We are 83% with Norwegian army. Once we get to 100, we can win and force them to give up their claim on England. That means no more attacks against us from the Americans. We took that territory, we're landing some more troops, and we are running them out to get them before they get into the ocean. Brave, calm, resilient. Let's go. Just kind of running them down. I haven't really gotten a chance to reclaim but the one territory. It looks like the north is fine. I want to chase after them. Southwest. And so this is kind of just, we're almost got it in the bag. We could end the wars right now. You can see just by having that marriage. And a marriage you don't even have to maintain, right? Because you can choose to abandon that. We have to get a kitty. It looks like we've got just the troops on our eastern border. Let's see them again. These guys are marching. Since they're not currently taking the territory, I'm just looking to see if I can they're threatening land or not to be dropped. It's going slow enough. I'm wondering if we can take this at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and station besiegers. And run at 1730. Alright, so now we're getting the best of both worlds. We've got our besiegers taking out that territory, and we're going to take on troops, and we're marching on London. Alright. The troops east. One territory. We're at 96% with Norwegians. They are attacking a different territory altogether. These guys are at war with us, but those aren't our lands, so I think we're okay. We are almost 100% now with Norwegians, and we're finishing with these guys. Taking, let's take the south, and we're heading my way. So we're 100% now. We can force them into a full surrender. So we're going to keep the King of England, and he loses his claim. So that's going to let us focus entirely now on 2,000 troops here. 2,000 strength of our troops along the line. So I'm not even using our troops. I'm letting the levies rest. So we are going to combine these two on station besiegers. And as besiegers, we're going to continue to march around to quite a few more procedures to do this. Our allies are going back to enemies chasing after them. They're strong, they're not that strong. And if we had more siege weapons, this would be a lot faster. Usually it doesn't take very long to recapture the territories of our own. These guys are trying to capture the territories of the West. We could probably focus all of our energy on recapturing territories. We own a lot of species. We have some nice we'll need options for this and you our cat is something out for this for remains and gave us 2 more. Okay, you probably want to catch these guys as we need. Oh, he changed mine. He was coming in. Alright, so we can have our best friend. I'll give you some stress. Let's go ahead and have fun and be our best friend. Alright, he's a man now. And his betrothed is 16. We don't want to marry her, so we're going to let him break that betrothal. Sorry about that, sweetheart. I'm a man now. So we do not have spies. You can see that the armies are still with us, even though we're going to stick around this. We can choose our lifestyle. Let's go martial. And I don't really care about the prowess side of things so much. But I do like the attraction bonus and the advantage to the knights. That's the other side of it. So we got the control growth and dread. I'm going to go ahead and do chivalry focus anyway. Choose how you want to focus your education. Go ahead and station the besiegers. Assuming the allies come with me, they'll just let me do my knights and go into the certain room. Something with them. Alright, we got a valuable guy. That would end the war right now. Right, so we can ransom, negotiate, things like that. We can also execute the man if we wanted to. And if we click execute, we gain dread, and that's about it. All close members are going to hate us. We can ransom them. We don't have a lot of money, so this is going to get us 100 points. So the war could be over right now. So we've already won. And we'll get the money back and stuff. And the war rages on, and we have the ability to pay off our debts through additional captures that we might make against the armies. So now the war has kind of gone switched into our hands. We are focused on just them, Normandy, and they only have 1,000 troops to our 5,700. We can now use them as a means of gaining income rather than losing it as we chase them down across the water. So normally, the way it plays out, if you chose a different faction, Normandy is expected to win, right? Because that's what happened in history. They're just stronger than England without the allies. So you'll generally find that in your playthroughs that England will fall to Normandy, and then you'll have Mr. William take over both England and have Normandy, and Normandy will become part of England as he's now a king. We have lost our leader, and I don't necessarily want my character to be leading anymore, but we'll do it anyway. So the king is very young age, and he's now leading. And that's going to give us some bonuses as well. I didn't realize he had such a high martial. He doesn't. Apparently, he is 14 now. He's got some modifiers as well. Very impressive. So we captured some more prisoners. This means money. That guy. That guy. And so we pretty much reclaimed England. Two nations attacking. Which you see here's four knights hoping our allies do this. They're not doing this yet. So if your allies don't join you in the advance, you're going to want to make sure you don't engage four knights against But I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get a little bit more money for capturing some prisoners. Yeah, back in the allies, just taking too At this point, we have all of England, right? All of England. We have no debt. Let me stop this. I don't need to be paying for things I don't need anymore. I'm going to go ahead and end the war. First demands. He says he's sorry. He won't try to take over England anymore. We're going to get tons of prestige. You notice we lost a bit when we broke the betrothal, but we're getting it all pretty much back here in the victory. We get to disband our army. We still are in the positive on money, and then as we exit out of having the armies, this -8 is going to go away. We're going to start getting positive. England is ours. Our king is alive. And this is just one of the strategies I found that helps out a lot with taking England, keeping England as a brand new faction, fighting off the Norman invaders, fighting off the Norwegians. Hopefully this has been helpful. Until next time, happy questing.